Everyone, I'm Prentis Rollins and welcome to lesson number 7 in my 10-part course on creating comics. In our last lesson, we took a crack at drawing the human male figure. It was fun, it was challenging, it was a lot of information, but we're not done yet. Half the people on this planet are women, they're female, and today's lesson is going to be about drawing the female figure. The female figure occupies a huge position in the history of art and in the history of comics. Think of Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Phoenix, She-Hulk, and of course Shoko Makinohara. Men and women are actually very similar anatomically speaking. The differences are small, but they're real, and for the aspiring comic book artist, they're crucial. We have a lot to do here, so let's get right to it. Follow along if you want to, or just relax and watch. Okay. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about mainly about drawing female characters. And some of this will be familiar from the last lesson, but I think it bears repeating. Start doing by doing the same thing I did last time, doing the elementary head shape. And then a female character, like her male counterpart, is typically about 7 1/2 heads tall. It's a normal average height person. So there's one head length right there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/2. That's the height of our character. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/2. Okay, I'm going to draw a midline. And as with a man, the wrists fall just about in line with the 4th head down, right on this line. So I'm going to put a couple little indications of shoulders, which are closer in. Then directly between, I'm going to put indications of elbows. Start drawing in rib cage. And sort of blocky form for the pelvis. Now, if I keep doing this for another 5 minutes or so, we're going to have this. This is our stick figure, okay? And now, as before, I can begin building this up into a series of simple geometrical and tubular forms, cylinders and spheres. And that's what I'm going to do now. As before, there's the head with the midline. Shoulder, elbows, wrists. Okay. neck
a little bit more narrow on a female character than on a male character. Again, that's the trapezius and the clavicle or collarbone. Now on female characters, typically the shoulders are more narrow than on a male character, and the hips are a little wider. Let me just indicate these hands first. As you can see, I'm just doing simple geometrical forms. And again, you can see the wrist is just about level with the crotch. Actually, it's a little bit lower here. This whole area is going to be a little bit bigger on the female. Let me show you. First of all, I'm going to see how we're looking. Balls down here to indicate the ankles, and a very simple triangular shape to indicate the feet. Okay, so here you can see there's our stick figure. That's the basic sort of skeleton, as it were, of our figure. And there is the very simple built-up mannequin based on the stick figure. And the proportions on this figure are pretty true to life, pretty close to what an actual woman of average weight and height would be shaped like. Let me start to build this up. Again, the eyes, as always, fall on this midline on the face. The nose is halfway down between the eye line and the bottom of the chin. The mouth about 1/3 the way down from the nose line to the bottom of the chin. And the ears are level with the nose. quick indication of hair. Now on a female figure, all of these lines are going to be a bit softer, a bit smoother, not as pronounced as on a male figure, because typically the musculature of women is a bit more subtle and not quite as dramatically built up as on male figures, unless of course they're professional bodybuilders or superheroes. But I'm not actually drawing a superhero here. I'm just drawing a kind of a normal human being. Now women, of course, have more pronounced breasts than men do, but they do have pectoral muscles, just like men do. Human beings have all the same bones and muscles, whichever sex they are. Slight indication of the neck muscle. This is the clavicle, which, as I told you all last time, is a very important bone because it attaches the entire skeletal body of the arm to the rest of the skeleton. And these lines are indicating the bicep. And if you remember from the last lesson, I told you guys that the navel belly button is just about on the same level with the elbows, so it would be right about here. Slight indication of the rib cage. Kneecaps right there. All people of normal weight will have a slight, very subtle protrusion right here, and that is the bone of the femur, which is the long muscle of the leg. It protrudes slightly right here on the sides. You can feel it on your own body. Outside ankle, inside ankle. As I said before, the inside interior ankle bone protrudes a little bit higher up than the outside ankle. And this is true of both men and women. Here's that lovely swooping line on the going straight up the middle of the lower leg. Calf muscle. One, two, three, four, five. It's quickly indicating some toes. 2, 3, 4, 5. Tendons on the inside of the hand. All right, looking pretty good. If I were to keep playing with this, eventually we would have this more complete version, which I did before class. So again, you can see the character, like her male counterpart, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 1/2 heads tall. Everything is a bit more subtle, though, and a bit softer. But the male anatomical features and landmarks are all reflected exactly in the female. Human beings all have the same parts and basic structure and shape. It's just that certain things are more accentuated on men and certain things are more accentuated on women. But in general, there's a lot less. For example, the rib cage is a bit more subtly indicated. I haven't put any. Let me just switch to this. Okay, here you can actually see the characters side by side. It's clear. You can see the forms are just bigger and more defined on the male character than on the female. The rib cage and thorax is more accentuated. You can see the abdominal muscles a lot more clearly. and the musculature of the legs is much more pronounced on men than on women. Women are softer, more rounded, smoother, more subtle. The shoulders of the male character are broader than those of the female. The hips of the female are slightly broader than those on the male. The hands on the male are larger than those on the female. And the same with the feet. And as you can see, I put more rendering and definition on the male character than on the female. Now, I'm going to quickly talk about children. Just going to quickly sketch in here a child. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to make this kid 5 1/2 heads tall. Harkening back to what we learned in our last couple lessons ago when we were talking about the human face. The eyes of kids are pretty big. Remember, they're full size. When a human being is born, the eyes never really get any bigger. The ears are proportionately a little bit bigger, and the nose and the mouth smaller. Neck narrower. And the arms and legs of a kid are going to be not very well defined in terms of musculature. They're going to be much skinnier. The thing to notice here is that the child character has a much larger head in proportion to the rest of his body. And that's one of the crucial things to remember when you're drawing children, is they're going to be differently proportioned. They're going to have larger heads, narrower shoulders, but everything else, the wrists are still level with the crotch, the elbows are still level with the navel. Yeah, there we go. Just a second here, let me okay. I want to spend a few minutes now building up a female character in a more dynamic pose. So why don't we just start I'm just going to start putting in some sort of gestural lines here. Rib cage. Pelvis. Head. When I'm drawing these dynamic poses, I usually start with this line, the spine line, the line of the back. This is where all the drama is coming from, this basic gesture, okay? These big sweeping lines. Now I'm just going to start kind of filling in tubular forms. See if we get something good. I'm really just playing around here, kind of erasing things that I don't like, putting in things that I do. I'm going to put a weapon of some sort in this woman's hand. Now I'm going to switch over to black ink and start to articulate this a bit more. This hand is curled into a fist, imagining this is as in the last lesson, this is a soldier in combat. ankles, it's the calf. Slight indication of the quadricep muscle, kneecap. And this foot is slightly flexed. Boots. Yeah, so you can see, even when you're doing dynamic figures in dramatic poses, you can always start by sketching in these construction lines, these sort of dramatic, the line of the spine, for example, and the anatomical landmarks, the elbows and shoulders, hips. Indication of the rib cage. Okay, and I'm going to have her head thrown back and looking up. Maybe she's shouting to her comrades to follow her or something. Do something really dramatic and interesting with her hair. Now, if I really wanted to make this authentic and believable, I could start adding interesting little details to her costumes. Doesn't really have anything to do with anatomy. I'm just, again, playing around. some sort of utility belt. Yeah, there we go. So that's a female figure in a very dynamic, dramatic pose. Okay, we're about out of time for this demonstration. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful.
All right, nerds, I'm thinking your brains are probably about full to the bursting point, and I do not want to be in the room when that happens. We are going to wind up today's lesson with something fun. We are now going to spend a few minutes drawing an inhuman body. You heard right. We're gonna draw a creature. Follow along if you want, or just relax and watch the monstrosity develop.
Okay, guys, so we're just gonna have some fun here. I'm gonna just draw kind of a big furry monster, I think. But he won't be too scary. Just putting in some... I'm gonna start by kind of drawing in a big chest, big abdomen. These are his shoulders, hips, knees, you give him really long arms, like a monkey. And kind of short legs. Ankles. I'm going to want this guy to have some big feet, because he's got that huge upper body that he's got to support. Indicate his head for now. And his legs, by comparison, are going to be kind of skinny. His arms are going to be the biggest part of him, his arms and his upper chest. And this guy's only going to have 2 fingers and 2 toes. Big googly eyes. Okay. Now I'm going to start to lighten that, and I'm going to start to go over that and make a sort of quick final drawing. There's those chest muscles, the pectorals. Make that a big, huge shoulder. kind of merging with his back. Whoop, sorry about that. Going to start to indicate some fur on these lower arms. Look how I'm doing that. I'm just making these kind of squiggle lines. So you see how this is a creature, an alien or something, but his basic body forms are similar to humans. They're kind of rooted in human anatomy, so that this guy is kind of like a distorted version of a human. And when I'm drawing creatures, they're always kind of based. Give this guy some big Pokemon-style ears. They're always kind of based on human anatomy, so that when people look at them, they kind of see something that's familiar. They see something that looks like a person, but then it doesn't. It looks different. Give him a little tiny mouth. Sort of like he's looking at us in surprise. Some claws. Again, 2 fingers. Do this hand. There's his thumb. One finger and the other finger. One toe and the other toe. Toes on the other foot. Now, and I'm going to add some rendering here. I'm trying to make this look like fur, kind of like a thin layer of fur, so I'm putting these tick marks. Now I'm going to kind of indicate this rib cage right there, fur. Add a little highlight on these eyes to make them shiny. Add some fur to the face. I'm giving him kind of surprised eyes. Fur there. Put some sort of rendering lines here to help indicate light source, which is coming from above. Another way I'm indicating light sources, I'm making these surfaces that are on the down planes darker. Might kind of add a little definition to these claws or toenails, and to the claws of the hand. More indications of fur on the arms. Okay, and there we go. Instant monster. Instant inhuman body. But again, just notice that it's sort of based on human anatomy. Arms, legs, torso. I've just basically exaggerated certain things like the arms and the upper torso, and I've made certain other things smaller, like the legs, and I've given them really big hands. So that's a nice kind of, I don't know, Pokemon style creature. Okay guys, thanks for watching. This brings us to the end of lesson 7. Next time we're going to talk about penciling an actual comics page. So until then, be well, keep on practicing, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.